Hello and welcome back to the Rise to Her podcast. If you're new here, great. I'm so glad you're here. I am feeling this deep gratitude for our growing community. I've been hosting a lot of in-person workshops recently and getting to meet incredible people. Our first retreat is almost sold out. We have one more room left and it is happening in November. We have several retreats coming up. Rise to Her, this podcast is intended to help the creatives, the entrepreneurs, the leaders completely deconstruct this idea of output, exhaustion, growth in a way that really is centralized on this idea of a patriarchal, white supremacy, capitalistic way of doing things that was built on the backs of folks doing everything for everyone else and pure exhaustion. It doesn't take into the reality of working with Mother Nature, working with seasonal energetics, working with the community at large, honoring both your human and divine form. And I'm so passionate about giving you a new structure to be able to hold this vision, this dream with. We are seeing a huge paradigm shift in our external reality. And if we do not understand how to work with that, using seasonal energetics, using the wheel of the year, using these more ancient practices of doing things, we will continue to feel as if we can never catch up. We will continue to feel stress every day that we wake up before our feet hit the floor, checking our emails, going, oh my God, did I do enough? Instead of really rooting into the flow of working with instead of working against or just trying to survive. From a pure physiological, biological standpoint, when we go into these survival modes as entrepreneurs, leaders, and creatives, we cut off access to that prefrontal cortex that allows us to think. It also cuts off parts of the brain that access creative thinking. It cuts off our intuition, and so we go into survival mode, and energetically our field becomes very stagnant and frazzled. It becomes very gappy. When I look at the field, it's like the gaps are really wide, so energy's flowing out, but you're not receiving it. And so when we're working with these energetic rhythms, when we're working with archetypal wisdom, which we do every week inside of this podcast, we're able to go beyond the stories of who we thought we were, how we had to react. And I just think it's more crucial now than ever because there is these consistencies that are happening across multiple industries that are making folks scared, that are making folks feel like, is this worth it? Is this what I should be doing? And I really want to shine a light on that because if you've been feeling that stress of, oh my God, what did I do? Why did I start this? Is this going to work? I'm going to talk you through about how to navigate that and how to work with the full picture holistically, both with spirituality and your full biological 3D actions, so that divine feminine and divine masculine, so that you can get through this month feeling inspired, feeling really grounded in your purpose, why you started your business, your creative project, whatever it may be. So thank you for being here. I'm Emily. I am your spiritual bestie, your burnout proof coach, your witch doula, here to help you reconnect with your own inner power so that you don't have to continue to burn out and feel like shit as you build your biggest vision, helping you connect back to that inner witch, back to something that is much more ancient, that is much more evergreen than some of the hacks and stories that we see all over social media. Recently, I was talking with a group of entrepreneur friends, and every single one of them brought up how in the month of August, when I'm recording this, that things are really slow for their business, that they're experiencing a lot of slowdowns in their sales and inquiries and just general people working with them. And there was this panic, and rightly so. Like, in the 3D, we got to make money. I am not someone that'll say, oh, just breathe and meditate. And it's like, that is data, right? What else is going on? Can I step back and look at this from a different perspective and learn the lesson, right? And this slowdown can oftentimes make us feel like we are doing something wrong, that we need to start to push harder. We need to completely pivot and do something different. And as they're talking to me, I sat there and listen and begin to recognize that this problem is not just isolated to this group of folks, of entrepreneurs that literally we're all in different businesses, brick and mortar businesses, online businesses, hybrid, and very different niches. This is something that we are all collectively experiencing energetically. Right now, when I'm recording this, we're heading into Virgo season, and Virgo is an earth sign. They're ruled by Mercury, and the energy here is not, oh, I just need to grow for the sake of growing or doing. Virgo energetics is about refinement. It is about detail. It is about going back through what you have already built and begin to tend to it instead of adding more on top of it. If we look at the wheel of the year right now and you see where we're at, again, I'm recording this in August. We are going into harvest season. Okay. When you see that and say, all right, if I'm working with the wheel of the year here and we're going into harvest, that means I need to be tending to the crops that I planted in order to reap the benefits. If I stop watering them, if I stop making sure that they have the right sun, or I'm tilling up where maybe weeds are growing on. For us, we've had some bugs that we've got to get rid of in our garden. And so there's this tending that needs to occur. Okay. That detail, that precision. And so again, we're not going to add more on top of things. So doing too much, when instead we can tend and refine. And this energetic is for any time you feel as if things are not going exactly how you planned, and your reaction is to just do more. Before you do more, you must step back and refine and see what's working, see what's not, see what needs to be manipulated, and not in the sense of manipulation that's artificial, but manipulated that is tender, that is caring to. And so if your business, if your projects, if your teams have felt a little wonky, if they felt slow, if they felt quiet to you, I want you to hear me when I say this is not the time to start panicking and hustling harder. Right now, you're at a precipice of a decision where you are being asked to do something very different than what that human panic wants you to do. And that is why I believe we pulled this archetype this week. Again, I pull them intuitively. I don't like study what's going on and then pull. I just connect with the energetics and do a full pull. Full. Yeah, that rhymes. And so we pulled the Stone Archetype for this week. If you are listening in real time, following our weekly episodes where we talk about the energetic current that's going on in real time, this is for the reading for the week of August 24th, 2026. If you're like, oh, I just stumbled upon this. Great. Listen to what wisdom is coming through for these specific problems. There's a reason that you're here. So we're working with the Stone Archetype, and this is a tool archetype. It is a eternal energy, an ever-present energy. It is also known as the anchor, the rock. It is an archetypal object, and so it holds both a psychic weight, so like an energetic weight, and a physical weight here. And when I see this archetype, right, the card, you can see it now if you're watching on YouTube on my screen. I'm just going to describe what this archetype card looks like, because we know that spirit, source, and this communication also talks to us via themes, via objects, via colors. They all carry a weight. So I really want to pay attention to what this card looks like. And so when you look at this card, you're going to see a really beautiful rock. And when I connected to it, it says rock of possibility that is sitting right in the center. It is anchoring into your soul, into your vision, into your mission. And this rock is then inside of a circle, a box, and a triangle. All of these three things are encapsulating the rock at one time. So it's, okay, this anchor is there. And then all of these different shapes are happening at the same time. They're existing together all at once. The Stone Archetype has an ability to transform us, but it is not this big, grand thing that all of a sudden happens at one time. Like when we're working through our manifestations, when we're saying, oh, these are our goals, we just really focus on this one big outcome. And the Stone Archetype is reminding that these things take time. A lot of times these quantum leaps, these desires to go from point A to point Z really quickly is super destabilizing to the human energetic field. And that's not to say that it can't happen or won't happen, but there's a lot of other work that is required to take place for your body to be able to do that. And so when we look at this stone wisdom here, we say, okay, what am I not noticing that has been happening, that has been moving so slowly, maybe across entire lifetimes, entire generations, that has taken a big stone, a big rock, a big boulder. That always makes me think of Donkey from Shrek. That's a big boulder. I like that boulder. And then that stone starts to get whittled down over time. Like a shell gets formed grain by grain. A single stone here might see thousands of generations come and go and still be sitting there. And that energy gives it this eternal presence. Same energy as Virgo, which is honest, which is slow, precise, unbothered by how fast everyone else thinks things should be moved. And so going back to this stone archetype is going to be crucial by people that are experiencing this. Well, I'm not moving fast enough. Well, I'm feeling like things aren't changing quick enough. Oh, but I'm comparing myself to this person that had this particular monthly income or had this many employees or brought in this much to their business this year. If you're experiencing that fear, if you're going, oh my God, I knew what I wanted. Earlier in this month, we talked about the hunter archetype, about getting crystal clear on what we want and desire. And then we explored in the ocean of the subconscious, of unity consciousness, something much bigger than ourselves. And then we might find ourselves going, oh my God, it's not moving the way that I want it. It's not fast enough. Beautiful. Go back to the stone archetype every time you feel that. Go back to the slowness that whittled away to get us this beautiful crystal that I'm holding up, or this one that I'm holding up, right? These crystals were formed over years and years and years, and that is magic. Yes, we can quantum leap. Yes, we can do things faster. That's totally available for you. But when our energy becomes frazzled by the need to move faster, we come back to this slowness, to this tending to work with this archetype so that your wild side of dreaming of possibility can become anchored. And that wild side can then flourish because it has something to come back to every time. If you've been listening to this podcast and thinking, this is exactly how I want to run my business, that is your sign to go deeper. Rooted is my monthly membership for entrepreneurs and leaders who are done running their business and their career on empty. Inside, we work with energetic patterns of each season, pull the archetypes, read what's moving, and use all of it to make clearer decisions, reduce the stress that's been quietly draining you, and build towards your vision in a way that actually feels like you and feels deeply connected to source and spirit. Most of us have spent years mastering the strategy and performing really high. The plans, the goals, the hustle. Rooted is the other half. It is the part that makes the strategy work without costing you everything. It's $27 a month and you can try it free for 7 days. Go to risetoher.com/rooted or click the link in the show notes. Come get rooted with us. I'll see you inside. So let's talk about working with the stone archetype. So no matter how far you wander or roam, I need you to know that you can always find your way back to your soul, to this anchor. And this tool is going to be what helps you as you are embracing the ocean current of like an ever-changing storm of this a big unity consciousness, this big purpose that you have. It can feel like a lot. It can feel really daunting if we don't know how to navigate that. And so when you go back to the wisdom of the stone, you're able to say, okay, I have something that will anchor me, that I can navigate the unknown, the unconscious depth, because I know I'm not going to drown out there because I'm anchored back to shore. And from that anchor, then you get to keep playing in possibility instead of saying, oh, it needs to look like this. The stone ties you to earth. It is going to be what helps you connect and come back to stillness, to quiet, to peace. When we're working with this stone archetype and when this card shows up, it is usually a remedy for something you're experiencing. It is a medicine. We've been in this liminal space, a lot of my community has been. We've been on the hunt of getting really clear on what we want. We've been out in the ocean of expansiveness, and now it's time for rest. And is that cycle showing us time and time again when we're connecting with Mother Nature, when we're connecting to that inner witch. She recognizes she is not separate from Earth. She is simply a part of it. And when we continue to disconnect ourselves, we lose pieces of our energy in it. And we do feel like we're drowning. This card, this stone archetype, is going to be your rest, your reprieve. It is going to be the connection back to self. That is what the medicine is this week to work with. The stone here is a really humble thing. And I say that, and I'm going to pick up one of my stones that I found several years ago. When I was with my wife, we were just like way out, connected with it, said, yep, we can bring this one home. And if you look at it, it just looks like a normal rock, really humble. But when we connect to it and recognize that it already holds its magic, it went from something super big to something beautiful that anchors me back into what I've always been. It has the power to balance out the frenzy of everything else that you've been doing this whole time. It's also the Virgo energy that we have right now. It means we are able to do that unglamorous work of refining while everyone else is going to be chasing this big push, this quantum leap. So to work with this, you are going to be invited to slow down long enough to begin to refine what you have been building instead of stacking the next thing right on top of it. And I'm smiling if you're watching the video because I pulled this really in-depth tarot spread yesterday. And the first card that I pulled was the Three of Cups reversed. And the reading was like, you're doing too much, you're pouring out too much, you're receiving too much information. And the medicine card that we pulled for this month was to connect back to nature, which has been a persistent theme. And now it's like, I wasn't really connecting with that energy for myself. And now it's making sense. That card was like, hey, I need you to pull this to be thinking on all the busyness, all the doing, all the like, I need more. And the card after that was the Death card. And so in order to get back to the mission, the thing you really started, we have to pull back and let things die. Okay. Especially as we're going into this season of harvest, the season of reaping the benefits of the work. Again, we must refine. We must make sure the bugs aren't killing our crops, doing the unglamorous work. So I want you to get clear on what you've learned in the last month, the last year. Can you really understand it? Write down, what lessons have I learned this year? Go back and revisit those lessons before you move on, before you say, oh, I need to do something else. And if your business, if your ideas, if your creativity has felt really slow this month, that is your invitation to really look at what you have instead of starting to scramble to build more, to do more. When you're in the light of the stone archetype, you're able to curate this steadfastness, this loyalty, this commitment, this presence to your divine purpose and mission. But when you're in the shadow of it, you start to feel weighted down. You start to feel resentful, cold, like, oh, I just have to do that. In the medicine here, return to nature, slow down, see the lessons, return to what has anchored you time and time again. So let's go back into ways you can work with this energy this week. First one is going to be to build a small rock structure in your yard. You can use anything that you can stack. For me, I have like a bunch of like little pebbles in my yard. And the intention here is just to create mindfulness and slowness in your day. If you can take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes to just slowly connect with the energy of each rock that you're stacking on top of each other, make sure you're not doing this like in nature where you're like disturbing the natural way things are existing. Like if you just have rocks in your yard, something like that, it could be anything that you stack. But the intention is to slow down. Another way to work with this is to look up the Jewish mourning tradition of leaving stones at graves instead of flowers. Even as I say that, what pops up? Are you like, why would you do that? Or maybe like, I wonder what the purpose of that. Look that up, sit with the energy, see what lessons come through for you. And then practically this week, I really want you to give yourself some real time where the only thing that you're doing is being, and that's going to be really weird for a lot of us. And notice what uncomfortable feelings start to come up. Start to pay attention to the inner dialogue. The energy here really wants you to know that you're not being asked to disappear or give up on what you are desiring, what you're manifesting, what you're building, but you are being asked to start to let it settle into you, letting it become grounded, anchored into you before you start to put more things on top of it. The same way that Virgo season is asking us to refine before we grow, before we expand again, that is what needs to happen here. The Stone Archetype will really bring you back to slowness. I've also will recommend, if you can, to not make a bunch of appointments. If you can receive resourcing. Today, I'm actually going to get a massage and some cranial sacral work. I did 2 meditations today. If you're in Rooted, we're going to work through the Calm the Fuck Down portal, refining those energetic leaks, patching them up. It's going to be really focused on a week of restoration. If you're not in Rooted, that is my membership for witches, mystics, and spiritually attuned entrepreneurs, creatives, and leaders to work with the will of the year, work with these energetic rhythms to deconstruct the patriarchy and the cycles of burnout and stress in their business and their lives. And you get access to the Calm the Fuck Down workshop inside of the Rooted portal. It's 5 days of patching up your energetic leaks and creating a ritual that you can do every single day to connect with your guides, spirit, earth, so that you're not waking up in a frenzy every day. So that's what we're going to do inside of the portal. You can get a 7-day free trial. I also take these weekly readings and do a deeper perspective, give you some journaling prompts, and it's just a really beautiful connection point. It's 7 days free and then just $27 a month. This week, slow down, refine, rest, get some reprieve, some respite. Use what makes you feel good. If there's foods that make you just feel nourished, that make you feel cozy, use them this week. Take some time, journal, maybe go back to your old why, your old mission, vision, statements that you did when you first started your business and reconnect with them, meditate on them, see what needs to shift. That is what I have for you today, my beautiful, beautiful angels. I hope you're having a great week. And if you're in the Portland, Oregon area, we have our 3rd Witches and Wine workshop. It is going to be about psychic attunement. We're going to work through the different psychic abilities that everyone has. We're going to attune to your strongest one, give you exercises to begin to make this a practice in your life so that you can connect with the powers that you already have, because you are nature. You are not separate from it. As of today, when I'm recording this, we have 4 tickets left. If we're sold out by the time you hear this, just know that you can get on the wait list for the next event. So the greater Portland, Oregon area is an incredible event of like-minded, spiritual, witchy, mystical folks who know that they are here to build something big, who know that they want the world to be a more well place, and they want to reconnect with their own inner witch and power. So you can see that link in the show notes below. If you want to get the deck that I've been pulling from, which is the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans, we'll also link that in the show notes. It's been a really fun deck to work with. I don't know when I'll change. I'm sure I will. All right. That's what I got. Bye. Have a great week. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, reflecting, and rising into more of who you really are. If this episode sparked something inside of you or reminded you you're not alone, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. To keep the conversation going, come hang out with me on Instagram at Rise to Her. I always love hearing what's resonating for you. And if you're craving a space to explore intuitive, soul-led living with others who get it, our community is growing and you're always welcome. Until next time, trust yourself, honor your rhythm, and keep rising.